Excellent, thank you. Thank you for your patience, everybody. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, June 16th, and it is 4:06 PM. Staff, will you please take roll call?
Commissioner Richard Lomsdale is excused. Commissioner Robert Bailey.
Here.
Commissioner John Graver.
Here.
Commissioner Dana Allen. Here. Commissioner Ann Worman. Here. Commissioner Ashley Brooks is excused. And Commissioner Riley Haline.
Here. Everybody can please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So at this point, has Commission had a chance to review meeting minutes from last meeting?
Yes.
I make a motion, we approve minutes as written.
Second.
Discussion? All approved?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carried. We move on to city staff. Any communications?
Nothing much this month. We are, and probably will have in the coming month or two, like to have our consultant who's been working on our habitat conservation plan, give you all a little briefing of the progress of that. Planning Commission doesn't really have an approval role in that, but it is a big issue that will affect how we review projects in the future. So I think it'd be a good idea for you to be aware of it. That's all for now.
Well, at this point, we've opened it up for public comments. If anyone in the audience would like to address the commission, comments are limited to 3 minutes and 5 speakers. Please comment on matters listed on the agenda. Welcome. If there's anyone to comment, step up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, please. Okay. None. 7. Unfinished business. Staff, do we have unfinished business from our meetings?
As I always say, our business is always unfinished, but nothing in particular tonight.
I do. Is there any follow-up from the joint commission or the joint meeting we were gonna have with council? So that was on our last agenda.
I have not heard anything from Richard at all. Need to share that information.
You haven't heard anything?
No, not at this time. I mean, I've talked to Todd about it, but it's really a conversation that has to happen between our chair and either our administrator or the mayor.
Okay.
Yeah. I have forwarded some of the ideas that Richard shared. So, yeah, trying to be a little bit of a go-between, but.
Okay. All right.
That concludes unfinished business. Do we have new business as well?
Not at this time, sir.
Thank you. All right, so we move into our public hearing portion of this. Today's hearing is on the proposed amendments to the City of Yelm Unified Development Code as referenced in agenda item number 9. That item. Don't need to read those.
Well, if you don't mind, we actually have the rezones listed as our first item under the public hearings.
Yes, sir. Okay. So we have a public hearing, so we have rezones. So this rezones 4 parcels from industrial to R6. These parcels are located north of the Loop and access via Killian Road Southeast and 88th Avenue Southeast and Mountain View Road Southeast. Number 2 is to rezone 10 parcels from industrial to R4. These parcels are located north of the Yelm Loop and access from Killian Road Southeast, 88th Avenue Southeast, Mountain View Road Southeast. 3 is rezone 4 parcels from industrial to R6. These parcels are also located south of the Yelm Loop and access from NP Road Northeast and Canal Road. And final, rezone 2 parcels from C1 to R16 adjacent to Safeway access from Vansel Road.
I'm sorry?
You should have.
Do we open for comment or?
Sorry, process wise, you need to open the public hearing.
Okay. So I asked the public for comments.
Well, the public comment was not, that wasn't part of the public hearing, so the public, as part of the public hearing, there will also be an opportunity to comment.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
No problem.
All right.
You can officially open it with the time.
say it's now open.
So we officially open public comment period at 4:11. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll just jump right in. So thank you. This is a matter I brought to you last month that we were looking at doing these rezones. As you all know, we recently completed an annexation of quite a bit of territory in the urban growth area, about 1,200 acres. And we knew prior to the annexation that there were some areas that we were going to be looking at rezoning. We didn't try to rezone them before the annexation because prior to annexation, they were part of the Thurston County Joint Comprehensive Plan. And so we would have had to gone through kind of an extensive process with the county to sort of get agreement on our future land use. Whereas once they're annexed, it's solely within our authority as a city of Yelm to do these rezones. So that's why we put it off. Andrew's my human easel tonight. And just to, again,
suggest that Andrew move higher.
if you could maybe stand over there so the folks
This-
can also see Andrew.
There's
I can put it up on.
there's camera
On the screen.
capturing it, if anybody wanted to watch this afterwards, but if he stood right behind you.
Do you have the map? You just want to share it?
I can share
Yeah,
it.
just do that. That'd be.
Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, while he's doing that, I guess I'll ask Cody to talk about the parcels that we have that are currently industrial that we want to rezone to residential. There's a couple reasons. Most of the property owners, and I don't have a count, but approached us even prior to the annexation, desirous of having those rezoned. But there's a more practical reason as well, and I'll let Cody address that.
Yeah, so if planning commission looks at the map, and I'm sure you're aware of the Yelm area, the parcels outlined in the grid, yellow and light yellow, also to the right, the bypass or the Yelm loop, when it comes through, is going to dead end several other roads. So right now, the former Killian Road used to cut through. It is dead ended there, and then now it comes through on, actually, sorry, I believe it's Mountain View Road is dead ended there. Killian it comes through on the right. So all those parcels back there would have to go through two large turns, and they're pretty narrow roadways to get semi trucks or industrial traffic through there. So those make sense to have residential, because having industrial semis go up and down those roads is not, very adequate for those roads and what they can capably handle. And also you have a large residential property that's already zoned residential to the right. So those semi trucks will be driving right next to that residential property. If you go to the other one slightly to the right, Andrew. These three industrial properties right here, or four actually, they abut Canal Road, but Canal Road will be dead ended right there. So they will actually have to go through that entire residential down to Wilkinson. Then they would have to take a left onto Wilkinson to get to the roundabout to get onto the bypass. So those zone industrial just doesn't make sense, whereas residential traffic could easily be filtered through there with a small roundabout. So it's just more of semi trucks or industrial traffic doesn't make sense in those areas, and getting those people going. I wouldn't, if I lived in that neighborhood, I wouldn't want industrial traffic driving by my house every day in and out. So rezoning those, whereas the other industrial properties have a direct connection to the loop. They can get straight onto Roten onto the loop versus having to go around a roundabout way and drive through residential areas. So it's not only beneficial in terms of land capacity and what we see, but industrial properties just won't make sense there. One of those properties has been zoned industrial for, I believe, 20 plus years and still hasn't developed. So
then just to be clear of the zoning, that what you're looking at there, that would be zoned R6, which is considered moderate density residential. Our current zoning, that means it would have to develop at a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 6 units per acre. And then if you can go back over to where we were before. So you can see the R6 down at the bottom. above that is R4, which is no less and no more than 4 units per acre. And that's consistent with our pattern of allowing less dense zoning as we get closer to our county boundaries. So that's the least dense zone we have in the city, and that's right up to the county. So then if you could go down to the commercial one, Andrew. This is the last one, maybe a little hard to see. Just to orient you, those are 2 parcels that are right behind Safeway. We're proposing to rezone those from commercial C1 to R16. One of them, the L-shaped one or the cleaver-shaped one or whatever you want to call it, that's already developed as Salmon Run Apartments. So it's already residential. The one next to it, the property owner actually requested to have that rezoned to R16. And in fact, if we rezone the Salmon Run to R16, then that parcel would be completely surrounded by R16 zoning because the other 2 areas abutting that parcel are R16. So we think it makes sense to rezone that to that density of residential. And I have nothing else to present on that. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
I have one. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I know Mayor Pinto in the grand scheme of things, he's been talking about a YAG, Yelm Athletic Complex. And I thought the plans in the future were right there at the end of Collins, and one of those occupied this R6 property. How does this align with the mayor's vision for the YAG?
Well, I don't have a lot of involvement or haven't had with that discussion. I think it was pretty highly speculative at the time. Cody might have some things to weigh in on that.
I think there's other locations that are better suited that the mayor is looking at currently. Because, that is no longer where he's proposing to do that.
Okay.
I have a question. On the property that is in the light yellow.
Yes.
That also is part of the property that's there in the light yellow is oak habitat. It's on our critical areas list and the critical areas map. How does having that move to residential R6 affect the critical areas? Are there any particular provisions and
Yeah, it would.
that have to go
It
with?
will definitely restrict the way it can get developed. We have to protect the oak habitat. So, in a situation like that, those, I don't know which parcels. I know that there's definitely oak habitat out there because I've been out there as
Almost all.
part of our loop mitigation. But it will definitely, the critical areas ordinance will definitely constrain how the property can get developed because we don't cut down white oak trees.
So it's not just that it can be parceled out to smaller pieces that people could actually strip the,
They can't remove the critical areas now. Yeah.
okay? Just curious.
Yeah, no, I get you.
So I'm following on that. If, let's say it was a 6-acre parcel and there was oak on 3 acres, would, but we have that minimum, maximum density of 4, let's just say 4 acres. And I guess how would that work? Would you have to consider that does that reduce the amount of developable land?
Well, I mean, it would affect probably the lot sizes. So you can have a very small lot, for, let's say 4 acres. You could still get 16 lots on a much smaller area of the overall lot. And the other area would be protected as a critical areas tract.
So there are certain buffers in place to protect the oak area.
Yeah, so there's no set buffer for oaks. I mean, there's a prohibition on cutting them. We definitely want to make sure that when there's construction done, that they're not going to be impacting the root zones. So there's some performance standards. I mean, our other critical areas actually have set established buffers. You know, if it's a certain kind of wetland, it's going to be anywhere from 50 to 150 feet, same for streams. But there's no actual buffer per se for the oaks. It's really more of a just hands-off kind of an approach.
Kind of like the drip zone around the tree.
That's about right.
Okay.
It looks like that last cube, that last square is all critical areas. And if that's the case, would the city consider that a small park?
Well,
More of
it's
a-
private property, so I mean, if it looked good as a park and the property owner wanted to sell it to us, I don't see why it wouldn't be considered, but if it was entirely critical areas, there is a process known as a reasonable use exception, and that has to do with basically it's a constitutional thing, taking a private property, we can't deny the complete use of the property. So, that would be a situation where even though it might only end up being one house, we would have to try to figure out a way to allow them to use their property. Of course, I mean, it's zoned industrial now. Anything it's zoned as, there's always that potential for something, but yeah, that's about all I can say on that.
So we open it for public
Public comment.
public comment. Opens at 4:22. Does it appear we have no public comments? So we are moving on to. Or
So Vice Chair, so these are two separate hearings, so I think at this point,
we call for a vote.
yeah.
So
Are
close.
we able to speak out
Yeah, he called.
on the yellow part right there that you're, and is it Annie or Ann? I don't, it's not 100%, but that's my dad's property. It's not 100% old. It's maybe 25% old, maybe 30% old. The rest of it don't have oak on it.
Can you come up and state your name so we can?
Yeah, my name's Bill Rothwell. And my dad's executor. He passed away last August. So we've been taking care of his property ever since. So we've been there over 50 years. And yeah, of course, there is some oak on there. It's mostly toward the canal part of the land, but all the rest of it's not oak at all. So, yeah, thank you.
To make it clear, any other comments on the rezoning? So close the hearing now.
Hearing for rezones closes at 4:24. So I open to vote. All those in favor, or excuse me, I should call for a motion? Yes.
Yeah.
I motion that we approve the rezones of the listed parcels. Other than we have no listing law. And they be allowed to move from commercial and industrial to the various R6, R4, as well as R16.
Second, we have a second. Second. Thank you. All right. All in favor of the rezones as listed, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Great.
Yes. All right. We will. Secondary hearing for today. Open hearing, at 4:25. This is amendments to Title 18. This includes establishment design standards for accessory dwelling units on residential and non-residential lots. reduces rear yard setbacks in all residential zones from 25 to 20 feet, reduces side yard setbacks to 5 feet for residential buildings that are not in multifamily in R16 zoning districts, increases the minimum density from 3 units per acre to 4 units per acre in the R6 zoning district, allows hammerhead turnarounds as an alternative to cul-de-sacs for emergency vehicle access, subject to approval by the Public Services Director and Fire Marshal. Revises the minimum lot area requirements in the C3 zone. Finally, provides clarity regarding setbacks for ground-oriented residential compared to multifamily and mixed-use buildings. I open this for public comment at 4:26.
Public comment. We didn't yet.
Right. It's just public comment.
Yes, it's open.
But we're not allowed to comment?
Well, you can.
Okay.
Public comment, right?
We're all public.
Oh, it is all public, okay.
The only thing I'm just curious. What's a hammerhead?
Oh, I can draw you
Kind of
one.
a T.
I figured
It's a T setup. Instead of having a cul-de-sac, like a fire truck can make a 3-point kind of a turn to turn around and get back out.
Fire truck can go.
There you go.
There were two, so most of these you've seen before. There are two that you have not. So the hammerheads, we're finding there's a few parcels in Yelm that have odd shapes, where a cul-de-sac is too large to accommodate the parcel. And we would still like the cul-de-sac to be a preferred route, but having a hammerhead as kind of a back pocket tool when nothing else works. But not, there has to be a special circumstance and approval through two different staff members to kind of warrant that when a cul-de-sac is not possible. But a hammerhead is essentially a dead end turnaround that you.
I know what a hammerhead shark is, and I kind of figured, but I'm not sure how that was gonna work for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why we included that one. It's also out of that transportation and access. But that came up, between that last planning commission and this one. And anyway, yeah, wanted to present that to you. And the revision for the minimum lot area in the C3 zone, that was not brought up prior, but what we're finding is there are developers that would like to create commercial pads and commercial spaces, but in the C3 zone, which is on the side near Walmart, it prevents smaller scale commercial and is more in line with big box. So we were keeping these large parcels that were essentially nobody wanted to touch because the project would have to be so big. So this proposal is to reduce that minimum lot area that would be consistent to C2. We're not preventing Costco or Home Depot or Lowe's, but we're not reserving a large parcel in its place while nothing else can go there.
So that allows a smaller commercial business, car wash, someone else to occupy that property now.
Correct. We've just been finding that zone really hard to develop because of the fact that you have to have so much land left over when you do subdivide. I think it's 70% of the original parcel or something like that. So at some point, you're gonna, over the next few months, we're gonna keep trickling, code changes, and we're considering getting rid of the C3 zone altogether because it's now basically identical to the C2 zone. We just didn't have time to do it this time.
I have one more question.
Yes.
Okay, there is the terminology of ground-oriented residential.
Yeah.
Could you help me understand what that is?
Yeah, and as we were going through the CBD zone, give me 1 second and I'll get to there. That's a great question. I had the help of the internet to help me define that. So with the CBD right now, a lot of these setbacks were geared towards single family residential, which is not an allowed use in the CBD, or it's not supposed to be an allowed use in the CBD. And however, we do want mixed use and that sort of development to occur. And also we allow duplexes in certain areas of the CBD as passed by a few years ago. But we wanted design criteria for duplexes where they're allowed. But instead of saying single family, and there's multiple different ground oriented, like duplexes, townhomes. It's defined in the definitions that are attached, but just providing a category for those smaller scale residential that are not mixed use
Single family.
in single family.
So, for example, it could be townhome, it could be a single family, but it's not multifamily.
Well, it can't be single family, right? Single family is not allowed.
Single family, but single family is not an allowed use. Like you can't put just a single family dwelling there, but there are certain areas where duplexes are allowed in the CBD. And it's mainly for those duplexes and townhomes to give them a category where we're not just saying duplexes and townhomes and making it so specific.
So it gives a broader categorization that doesn't limit what might come along.
It is, yeah, it's more broader than specifically saying duplexes only. So
You might recall, I don't know if it was a year ago or longer. The years are blending together these days, but we wrestled quite a bit with the CBD zone because we have areas of the CBD where we have tiny little parcels that are like less than 2/10 of an acre. So Drew presented this 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
So we designated some areas, I think within 150 feet of Yelm Avenue and First Avenue. If you have a lot that's, I think 0.16 acres or less, you can have duplexes there. We normally wouldn't even allow duplexes, but they were not developable otherwise. So it's kind of complicated, but following that, then we've been wrestling with all the terminology of how we say what's allowed and what isn't. Is that about right?
So that sums it up well.
So on that section for the side yard setback, so number one is residential, 5 feet side yard and 15 feet flanking yard. And then multifamily residential is 10 feet side yard and 20 feet away from any flanking street. So let me just say residential and not multifamily residential. Is that the ground oriented? It's 1835-040 standard CBD district E1.
That should,
That the ground oriented
is it right? E right here.
E1, yeah, you crossed
Yeah.
out single.
That should say ground.
Okay.
I'll add a note in there.
Hopping around, I'll go back to the hammerheads that we started with. For cul-de-sacs, are those defined in the definitions, like what that minimum radii is or diameter?
It's in our design guidelines, and I believe it's a 90-foot radius.
And then,
Fire code as well.
yeah, and that brings me to the second point. Well, I was wondering if we should just reference the design guidelines as a place to look. If someone's just like, I'm complying, I'm curious with my 60-foot cul-de-sac, and then they find out that it's not, but I'm not too worried about that. And just a little the end of that section, the proposed development complies with all applicable provisions of the International Fire Code as determined by the fire code official, and I don't think that's a real term. It's either usually, Chris, you would know, it's either fire marshal or building official, right? So everything else
We
in
can
the
change the,
chapter is fire marshal, so I'd probably stick to that, because you're both, right, Chris? I think you're both building official and fire marshal, yeah, the fire marshal.
Chat.
Good job.
It's reading to the official.
And then if I can hop around more, on R6, the last item is item K, manufactured housing community. The parcel size shall be a minimum of 3 acres with a maximum of 15 acres. And that's only in R6, not in R4 and R6. I know we're not changing that as part of this, but I'm curious.
I'm not sure that is. Yeah, that's.
Maybe I don't want to complicate it, but
Your prior.
I just.
That's kind of a legacy, kind of.
Seems like-
So I'm not exactly sure what the rationale would have been for that.
Why only in the R6? It's not in R4 or, wait, is it R, yeah, I think it's only in R6, not in R4, 16.
I guess, I mean, I'm gonna just spitball it, because I haven't even really thought of it, but I think if it was in the R4, the manufactured housing community would probably not be dense enough,
Probably.
and it probably couldn't get the density of R16.
Maybe.
I'll give it some thought. I haven't really done it before.
And then I think for building heights, R4 had an accessory building height of 25 feet. R6 had 20 feet. It was changed down to 20 feet. Is there a reason for that?
I just want to make sure I'm looking at the same thing.
See it in 1832-040.
Minimum rear yard setback.
No, the accessory building.
Oh,
Accessory.
sorry, yes.
I am not sure.
Was there a problem with leaving it 25? Because if we left it 20, did we change it on R4? We left it.
Something.
That might have been, yeah.
We think maybe, because we were
Setback.
looking at all the yard setbacks.
Yeah, I think we did, yeah.
I had just misread that.
Yeah, I think that's.
So that's probably needs to be
25.
put back to 25, yeah.
And then in a previous, I don't know if you call it a reading, you provided definitions of accessory dwelling units and accessory structures. Is that going to be included in another?
I don't.
No, it's not part of this. That wants to be quickly followed.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, I think that might have happened. About that,
We may have to pick that one up on our next round.
Okay.
yeah, that, my apologies, there are a lot of things that went in that packet.
Okay, I'm gonna stop.
That's good. Good.
There are additional comments? Public comments? No. It is 4:40. We close public comment period. I ask for a vote.
Motion.
Oh, yeah, excuse me. Request a motion to accept.
Motions. What are we doing? Oh, accept the amendments to Title 18 with a few little minor typos that were discussed.
Second,
A second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
So just, since the hearing's over, just one quick little update. Some of you remember Savannah because she used to do, I think, what Hazel does now. She's a building plans reviewer for us now, works with Chris, does a great job. But she also accepted an assignment to help us. We recently purchased 5 off-the-shelf stock ADU plans that we're going to make available to the public for free. So that will save them the cost of design and at least plan review. And she's right now working to get that live on the city's website. Working on getting forums in place and all that. So that's to me kind of exciting and should be able to roll it out here. I would say over the next maybe 8 weeks. There's work through IT for some of this. Oh, I forgot to just
Yes.
say welcome Riley. John, way down at the end, you guys didn't get to meet, but our newest planning. So Riley has planning background. He's from Washington University, so I think he's going to be a big asset and glad to have you on board.
Excellent. Welcome.
Washington University or Eastern?
Yeah.
All right, so it's our public comment period. Do any of our commission members have a reports for their?
I do. No. I have a report from the Parks. From the Parks Commission. To remind everybody that Prairie Days is this month. And there's going to be quite a bit of activity on Prairie Days. We've got an organized bingo on the 25th. We have a dance the evening of the 26th. The parade is on the 27th. And I've been told that with the parade and the park, that there will be actually rides. We haven't had rides in since we redid the irrigation system, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it's probably going to be, they'll be located on some of the closed streets and such. But and then on the 28th, there's the mush ball tournament. So it's going to be quite the event this year, and I'm hoping that everybody is going to be able to join in the festivities. That's June 25th through the 28th.
What is mush ball?
What is mush ball? I haven't actually played mush ball. If there's anybody here that has.
It's a very soft softball.
It's like a,
No,
exactly like it sounds. It's just softball size and it just,
mushy.
It's like my first year and they're kind of injuries.
yeah, the parade should be exciting. My daughter's dance team will be in it. I'll be driving, so you can see my truck. Yeah, so last year it was awesome, had a good time, weather held out, so, yeah. All right,
And the rules and procedures subcommittee. Maybe next time we can share an outline with the rest of the committee, but we have one. I think Rich wanted one anyway, so. We've been working on an outline, so.
good to know.
Bruce?
Tree board will meet in September. We'll kind of go over how our Arbor Day celebration for 2026 went. Areas we can improve in. And I did get the 30-year signs from the Arbor Day Foundation. So we've been recognized as a Tree City USA member for 30 years now. We'll get those signs up as soon as we can.
All right, that was all the reports. It looks like we are done. We have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Is there a second? There we go. All right. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Thank you. 4:46, we are adjourned.